Hello and welcome to the Art of Decluttering podcast. I'm your host, Amy Revell. This is part 2 of our Too Much little mini series. Basically, last week I had a whole lot of things that I wanted to go through and say, these are some categories that I'm pretty sure, friend, you can declutter in. And I ran out of time because there was so many things. So I thought, great, we'll just roll that over into today's episode. So we might get straight into it. As a reminder, though, if you're an audio listener, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any of the podcasting apps, we're now on YouTube. So if you want to come over and subscribe and watch on YouTube, you can see my home. You can see the fact that I have semi-wet hair doing this episode because I made a commitment. If I was going to come and do YouTube videos, I was not going to bother with a whole lot of makeup, making sure my outfits are fantastic, doing my hair in any particular way, I can see in the background of my thing, one of my plants needs a little bit of watering. Like we're living the real life. That is the motto of the podcast for as long as it has been, is like, this is just the reality of life. And so I'm not coming to you as someone who doesn't have any clutter. I'm coming to you as someone who's like, hey, this is an area that I think that I've worked out a lot of stuff in and I've been coaching other people in for 11 years. I'm just going to bring a bit of it to you. I'm not an interior designer. I'm not a psychologist, but I got a little bit to bring, and so I'm just going to bring it for you. So we're talking about areas and categories in your home that you probably have too much in. I have been in thousands of homes and these categories come up time and time and time and time and time and time again. And I just want to be honest with you and tell you, like, you have too many toys. You just do. You have too many baking trays. I know you do. You really do. You have too much paperwork. And so we're going to continue on in the vein of, like, I'm pretty sure you have too much of these things. Not all of them may apply. There may be some where you're like, yes, I'm nailing it. I don't have to have too much in that category. But for the most part, you can probably declutter a thing or two from these categories. And maybe if you're feeling up to it, do a deep dive where you're like, I'm going to pull it all together, go through it, be really realistic of, like, am I using this? Do I need it? Do I love it? And if not, it can go. So the first area is kind of like stepping on the book category. And we're going to go to stepping on your toes because I'm going to talk about shoes. And I think what happens with shoes is we like the shoes that we keep, but we may not have either occasion to wear them, or they don't fit, they're uncomfortable, they're too worn through. There's a reason that we're not wearing them as much as we should. Now, I've got 2 kids who they're like early entry level sneakerheads. Like, there's a lot of sneakerhead talk at our house. I would say that I look at somebody's mobile phone, either the 17 or the 19-year-olds, 3 times a day for them to show me a cool pair of shoes that they're going to save up and get. And what about this color wave and this just new release and this Jordan 4 this? And, like, I get it. And I worked in the footwear industry for years and years and years. So I understand shoes, and I understand that it's a great way of expressing ourselves. But I also understand, as I've gotten older and I had to see a podiatrist for the first time ever last year, is that not all the shoes in your wardrobe are good for you to wear. Sometimes the shoes in your wardrobe need to say, bye-bye. I've got to a stage of life or a health, or for whatever reason, I'm just not going to do that anymore. And maybe the reason you're not going to do it anymore is just, I don't wear uncomfortable shoes. Like, maybe that's just where you're at in life. And we had a wedding in December. When was it? In January. And I only have one pair of, like, proper heels left. I've got rid of all of the others because I'm like, I don't have time for that. And I've just got this one really nice nude pair. And so I wore them to the wedding. And by the end of the wedding, my gosh, I could barely walk. I was like, why did I do this to myself? And so I want you to have a look at your shoes, and I want you to make some easy decisions. Like, which ones are wrecked? Which ones have the soles worn through on? I had a pair of sandals the other day that I thought were leather. I can't remember. I honestly have had them probably 15 years. And I was like, I think they're leather. And then I went to wear them and they've actually just started to all peel. And I was like, oh, that's a synthetic fiber. So I got rid of them because there was no coming back from it. So there are going to be some shoes in your wardrobe that you're like, yeah, they're gross. That you look at the sole and it's like all to the left has worn out, or you're just never going to get the color back that they wear, whatever it is. Get rid of those shoes. Please get rid of those shoes. And what I want you to think about is when you go to put on a pair of shoes and then you take them back off for whatever reason, think, am I ever actually going to wear these? Because if not, shoes is a big category that you can go through and declutter. This one, the next one. So shoes I'm doing all right in. Like, I've decluttered a lot of my shoes. Having worked in the footwear industry for forever, I had a lot of shoes. And so I feel like my shoes is pretty much under control now. The next one is something I'm working on, and that is textbooks. And we've spoken about this, and I have gone through and I've gotten really good. And then I feel like at the end of every school year, I end up with a textbook issue again, which is, oh my gosh, these textbooks were so expensive. I feel like I need to pass them on to somebody, and I cannot find anybody. I can't sell them. I can't give them away. I can't donate them. And so I feel really sad throwing textbooks in the rubbish bin. But if I was coaching myself and I was the client, I would be saying to them, have you tried? I would say to myself, have you tried? Have you tried to get rid of it? Have you tried to donate it? Have you tried to sell it? And are you having any luck? No, I'm not. I've been trying for a couple of months. It's okay to let them go, because if nobody else wants them, you're just keeping them for no reason. They're literally just taking up space in your home, so just recycle them. So that's going to be on my to-do list for the rest of this week, is to go through and just double check that there's no bites or interest on any of my sales that I'm trying to do online. And then I think I'm just going to have to say goodbye to them. And the reality is textbooks, and I've done a whole episode on it, it's a bit of a bugbear for me, get replaced and renewed so often. It's a really capitalist system around textbooks. An area that I know I absolutely do not have any issues in decluttering, and I do not have a quantity issue, I do not have too much, is makeup. But for pretty much every woman that I've ever gone and supported with decluttering and organizing, you do have too much makeup. You have makeup that's old, you have makeup that's open and expired, you have makeup you're never going to use again, you have makeup that's manky, that's like you like had conjunctivitis and you're like, do I need to use this mascara? Like, you have it all. You've got products you're never, ever going to use. So what you might do is pull up a little chair in your bathroom, or pull all of the stuff out, sit at the kitchen table, just go through your makeup. And have a look, what can you get rid of? Like, do you need to replace your brushes? I cleaned my makeup brushes a couple of weeks ago, and it just feels good. And the reason I could do it confidently is I have about 4 makeup brushes that I use. And so it was easy for me to quickly give them a clean and do all the proper things. But have a think. Your makeup might be an area that, like, realistically, friend, you have too much of. It's time to declutter. Incidental furniture. Now, at first glance, when you walk into a cluttered house, incidental furniture is not the first thing that pops out, and you don't think, oh, okay, well, that person definitely needs to get rid of all this incidental furniture. However, once you start decluttering and creating homes for items, what you often find is you've got, like, why do I have a coffee table there when I don't have a need for a coffee table? Why do I have this tiny little bookshelf? Why do I have this plastic set of drawers? Why do I have all these coat hangers? And you start to find you've got all these organizing things, you've got furniture that you've picked up and purchased that doesn't actually have a purpose anymore in your home. And if you leave it there, it will attract clutter. So if you've got to the point where you've, like, done a good amount of decluttering, and you do have these, like, a side table or an extra bedside table or a lampstand or a storage ottoman, like, whatever it is that you have, if you're starting to realize, and I'm hoping this will be your trigger, maybe I actually don't need all this furniture. Maybe that bookshelf can go. Maybe the spare bed can go, because we actually never use the spare bed. Maybe all the storage in the spare room can go. We actually don't use any of that. Like, think about your furniture with fresh eyes, and once you start decluttering other spaces, that will become clearer. And we've talked a little bit about shoes, and last week we talked about our painting and gardening clothes. But I just want to go, like, a broad clothing. You have too many clothes. Like, I can guarantee you, I could almost half the clothes in your house, and you would have no issue getting dressed, going out, going to special occasions, going to work. You have too many clothes. I promise you, you have too many clothes. It might seem like when you get up in the morning, you don't know what to wear, but that's not because you don't have enough clothes. And so if you're wanting to get started, clothing is a great category. Just grab a garbage bag, even if your washing's not up to date. Because realistically, the washing and the stuff in the basket, the stuff on the line, are the things that you're wearing more regularly. So grab a garbage bag, go to your wardrobe, and, like, I can honestly say I haven't worn this in 12 months, put it in the bag. I'm not going to wear this again, put it in the bag. That doesn't actually fit very well, or I've changed the style that I like, put it in the bag, and donate those items. If you are feeling a bit like, with the whole wardrobe, that seems like a big task, it's a bit daunting, Amy, I've got a free 5-day wardrobe challenge that you can come and join. So I'll put a link to that in the show notes. But basically, it just takes you through 5 days, videos, like, kind of like a podcasty video that's like, hey, let's go through your formal wear and let's make some decisions. Here's some parameters. Here's how you make good decisions, and we go through it. The next one is ornaments and trinkets. I am not an ornamenty, trinkety person. However, I really am a houseplant person, and I feel like I've allowed houseplants to kind of take over where ornaments and trinkets go, which I'm totally fine with. There's a couple of areas in life that I'm never going to tell you have too many of, and I'm not going to tell you have too many of houseplants, and I'm probably never going to tell you have too much nice art in your home. Those two things are like my sacred spaces. They're my books and shoes for what other people experience. But trinkets and ornaments, they're like those little I'm not sure what they're called, like willow something. Like there's these little angels, and there's this little mother and child, and there's this little thing pushing a wheelbarrow, and this is the little like thumb, what are they called, like thimble that I got from, like all of that stuff is lovely if you're using it, displaying it, enjoying it. But more often than not, it is cluttered, it is dusty, and you can't remember the origin story of it, but you feel like you should keep it because it's been on that shelf for 3 years. And so I'm sure it's important to somebody. I want you to just be challenged to go through, like, look at your windowsills. Look at the windowsill in your kitchen, friends. I am forever like pulling everything off windows in front of, like, where the sink is often overlooks a window. Doesn't in my house, but it may in yours. And it's just got trinkets on it. And it's just got like some flower that's bobbing up and down. Like, please, I want you to get rid of some of your trinkets for your own sake, because it creates visual clutter. And visual clutter can just disturb everything. It just makes life harder. It makes it harder to get momentum. It makes it harder to focus. So yeah, that's my rant about ornaments and trinkets. The next one is one that I think you need a lot of, but you actually don't. And that's stubby holders, or they're called drink coolers or can coolers. Apparently in the US, you call them koozies. I think that's how you say it, koozies or cozies, either one. It's the thing that you put around your can or your bottle to keep it cool. You have too many of them. I have one of them in our house, and I've never needed more than one, partly because I really like holding a cold can. So if I've got a can of Coke, I will often like just hold it because I love the feeling, and Cal will often put it in a stubby holder. But let's say, for instance, you're a big barbecue family, you have friends over and you've got drinks and you've got an esky. Maybe you need 6, maybe you need 8, but I have been to homes where there's 30 or 40. And sometimes because you collect them, so maybe you're a caravanning family and the thing that you buy in a new town is a stubby holder with the name of the town on it. Or maybe you just kind of get given free ones. Maybe they get given to you as presents or in gift bags or in show bags or just as novelty promotional things. But I want you to have a look at them, and I just want you to think, when was the last time we used a lot of these, and how many was that? Was it 4? Was it 6? Like, how many do we actually use? And then get rid of the rest. Get rid of the ones that are manky and dirty, because they get pretty dirty. You can wash them. You can chuck them in the dishwasher, or you can hand wash them. But have a think. Maybe you do not need as many stubby holders, koozies, drink can coolers as you have. And along the same line is wine glasses. Most homes that I go into have more wine glasses than they have friends. So if you're not in the habit of having a dinner party for 12, or having drinks for 12, or hors d'oeuvres for 12, or a birthday party for 12, why do you have 24 wine glasses? Maybe you can cut your wine glass collection down to actually how many you use. Now, there are some people that might be listening that are like wine connoisseurs, and you're like, no, but I need this one for the red, and I need this one for champagne, and I need this one for white wine, and I need this one for mulled wine. You know what? If that's you, go for it. You get excluded from this category. However, for most people, like if I go to someone's house, not that I don't drink anymore, very, 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 very occasionally, but when I used to drink, I used to quite like a white wine. I was not judging if I went to a girlfriend's house and they're like, would you like a wine? I'm like, oh, that sounds great. And then they gave it to me in a glass that would otherwise be a red wine glass. I'm like, no, I can't have your wine. Of course, it's beautiful. You drink it. But for most families, for most households, you don't need to have a whole lot of different types of wine glasses and a large quantity of them. Just have how many you need and use the ones that you've got. Now, the next one is a bit more personal, but it's lingerie. Now, one of the joys of being a professional organizer is we go into homes and we go through everything. So obviously there are clients who say, actually, this category I don't want to go through. And there are some very private categories that some people don't like us to go through. Others are like, hey, this is an area in my home. Let's go through it. And lingerie is an area that I often find people have so much more of than is practical or functional or necessary. And it might be that you've got them for special occasions. But the question I want you to ask when it comes to your lingerie is, would I miss it if I didn't have this? Because what you might find is, yes, you've got this lovely lingerie, but you've also got a very, very similar thing in a different color or a different pattern or a different cut. And so if you got rid of one, would you just wear the other one? Or maybe the question is, do I ever wear this lingerie? Or is it more the idea of having lingerie available? So have a think about it. It might be that you end up saying, actually, all I need is like one really nice set of lingerie. It might mean that you need 3 or 4, but have a look through, like, would I miss it if I didn't have this one? Is there another option that I can wear and feel lovely in? So that's a category for you to go through. You might want to go through it with a professional organizer, or maybe go through it with your partner, but it's a good one to assess. And the last one is a category that I've been thinking about for our house, and it's fidget toys. Lots of the families that we work with are neurodivergent, but it's not just neurodivergent households that have fidget toys. I find that it's schools and workplaces and every home. And when I've been, we've got family friends that sometimes I'll help by taking their kids to a party or picking them up. There's often a fidget toy in the party bags. Like, fidget toys are everywhere. But what you may find is that you've got fidget toys that nobody uses anymore, that it's not a preference of the people in your house. And so I would suggest that you gather all your fidgets together and you say to the people in your household, which fidgets do you guys want? And maybe keep them at your desk or wherever they're being used, or you might keep them in a family communal bucket. Otherwise, you can let some of them go. You might donate them to your local school or to a local speech pathologist, occupational therapist, or you can just donate them to a charity store. They would definitely take fidget toys. If they have been chewed, sucked on, so chewed, I would just throw in the bin. If they've been sucked on, I would definitely wash them and disinfect them before you donate them. And if they're kind of looking a bit sad, like they've really been the fidget out of them, then you might be able to just throw them in the bin as well. But if you've got perfectly fine fidget toys, but they really do grow, they grow around the house, and it might be that you've got some bigger things, like you've got wobble seats, or you've got, bigger items that kids play with, big mellow mats, and you're like, actually, we just have too much. We don't need all of this. It could be time for your fidgets to go. So that's a whole nother lot of categories that you can go through and declutter. I've really run through them, but the purpose of the last 2 weeks, the last 2 episodes, is to give you ideas of like, oh, I could start there. Maybe that's a category I have too much of. Yes, it's a category you have too much of. And so start thinking creatively, like when you come to declutter, instead of feeling stuck and you're like, oh, I just don't know where to start. That's the idea, is I want to give you all these like jumping off points so that you can get into it and you can enjoy the freedom that comes from having a category decluttered and organized. So I hope that's been helpful. Until next week, enjoy the freedom.